Welcome, everyone. Good evening to many of you, and good morning to the people in US. I would firstly like to welcome all of you here, and it's Sanjay Sehgal's very own showtime, and it's his very own channel. So I'll not give much of an introduction, as you know him very well. He is the chairman and CEO of MSIS Group, and a very heartful human being. Today on this channel, we have Mr. Deek Parassini. He is uh, he is the founder of LIAP, that is Life is All Positive. He's a volunteer-based humanitarian and non-religious, non-political. He's associated with an organization which is spreading positivity all around the world. He's a, he usually says that he is on a mission to spread positivity for all, and he believes that life is all positivity and negativity doesn't exist. Now, he often says, give him a little bit of your time and he'll prove it to you. Now, to give you a little bit of an introduction about Deek, over 20 years of his work experience into marketing, sales, engineering, and psychology. He's got a wide experience into all these sectors, wherein he's been working as a regional sales manager within Middle East and South Asia for a lot of multinational companies. He tries to balance his work as well as his personal life, and also spreading positivity to youngsters and a lot of professionals. Deek is very passionate, energetic, and frank, and is in terms of his interactions. And he talks to a lot of youngsters, thousands of people of various age groups, and touches their lives with positivity. So, Sanjay sir, welcome. Deek, welcome both of you. Now, before we begin, today's session talks about learn to let go. Uh, we often say, in order to control your life, you need to learn to control your mind. That is the very basis of how and what kind of a world that you want to live in. Otherwise, the world that you live in is also going to be very accidental and haphazard. So today's topic is the very basis of how to control your mind and let go of the impressions that you have, so that you have a worry-free world. Before we begin, I would like Sanjay Sehgal's thoughts on this.
Learn to let it go or learn to let go. I think there is some noise I feel, some background noise. I don't know. If you can mute yourself, Shantanu. Okay, better. See, my views on this topic, I mean, if you see the word ego, it has go in it, right? So I feel once we learn to let go, which means deal with our ego or refine our ego, right? We can live a much better life. Most of the problems that we see in our world, around us, are related to, all of us trying to assert ourselves into things that we can do without. So, and once my mentor had told me that, they say, let go, let God, I mean, you let go of yourself and let God into you, and the life becomes easier. So I think these are the only things I will like to share at this point, and I'm sure I'm looking forward to a meaningful interaction with Deek, and the viewers and listeners will learn a lot more from both of us, and hopefully from their own selves through this journey of today's session.
Deek, what are your views on this? How about you share
First
your
of
thoughts?
all, I would like to thank everyone from the Sanjay Notes team, for giving me this opportunity, and thank you to all the audience for watching this quite an interesting topic, which is about let it go. For me, let me just summarize it from all in very simple terms. as we say, we come alone and we go alone, right? We come with nothing and we go with nothing. Why are we holding on to some things when we are all doing it without any connection to the current world, right? So it's very obvious. The more you hold down, it's difficult for you to travel to the next destination. So my perspective would be, if you have come alone, be as much as you can without holding on to things or people, and then release it off, or try to release it off when you leave this world. So at the end of the day, you are in this world in a happy way, in a positive sense. But what you don't understand is, when you hold on, it gets difficult to leave, or gets difficult to move. So if you figure that out, I think life will be a positive thing at the end, right? Yeah, that's my quick summary on that topic.
Right, Deek, that was quite insightful, and thank you so much, Sanjay sir. Now let's get back on few questions that the team has gathered. And very first one is correlating with what everyone's question people have regarding impressions. What should everyone let go of, and how should they do that? Sanjay sir, we'll first point it out to you, and then Lee can give his perspective. Sanjay sir, I think you are on mute. We are unable to hear you.
Sorry. I liked what Deek said, Shantanu, that, we all came, if we could all realize just this simple truth, we came with nothing and we'll go with nothing. And of course, it's a lot easier said than done, If only we can realize this, that everything that we are holding on to are things that we acquired during the course of our life. So I think if you think of, I mean, simple answer to this is, what should everyone let go of? Everything, you know. I think at the same time, see, we all require ego. We all require ego to exist. But over time, what I have come to understand, that the place of ego in our lives is only to make us a better version of ourselves today than we were yesterday. If only we can understand some of these nuances of ego. I mean, I am Sanjay Sehgal, I am CEO of a company. I mean, that these are facts. This is not ego, right? And but if I come across, or if I make up things around things which I am not, then it becomes difficult. Or if I start thinking I'm a better person than Deek, let's say, as an example, I think this interaction would not go any further, as an example. But if I think of myself today, or I try to make myself today as a better version than I was yesterday or the day before, then I think you can see things will become easier. I think our issues, interpersonal relationship, or with our own self, comes when we start comparing ourselves with others, and we start thinking of ourselves what we are not, and then you hold on to those things. And in your interpersonal relationship, I mean, most of the problems are because of this. People are, you told me this yesterday, right? If only we can learn to live in the present moment. That's the other side. That is very essential. Ego is one side, right? Other is holding on to things that have happened, already happened, are over. If only, I mean, we all have heard of these words like live in the present moment and all that. What it actually means is that if we are able to see things as they should be seen at the present moment, I may have been a different person yesterday than I am today. So, what should everyone let go of? If possible, everything. Otherwise, start with at least one thing at a time, right? I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, I'll come back for more on this thoughts. Like right now, I would like to go to Deek to understand what's his thoughts around this.
Okay, so let me make it very easy again, right? And I'll add on to what Mr. Sanjay has said. So, as human beings, it all starts from birth, right? And when you're born as a child, you don't have ego, you don't have anything at all. You're the most purest human being ever known to the existence of the world when you're born as a child, right? So the first step is how you build up your ego is you tend to forget everything. When you're born, the first thing you have is your relationship, mother, father. Health, finance, education, all comes later on. So the first thing for a child is to hold on to something, which is their parents, which is a relationship, and that's how they understand the meaning of what is life all about, right? From the parents. So first step, any child, they're holding on to the parents. That's point number one. Then obviously, as we go further on, it goes into education, my identity of who I am. There are some people have I am male and the other one is female. You tend to hold on to various things. Then you have your education, you certain get a degree and you say, oh, I have this degree. You're holding on to that, right? And then further on, you get a designation, you get a job, you get various other things. You are holding on to every single thing if you really look at it. That builds your existence in one point of view. But the thing is, when you hold on to things more than what you're supposed to hold on, that's when the problem arises. I know many parents after marriage, they still try to control their kids. Their kids' marriage, they still try to control their kids some way or the other. I know better than you. They don't leave their children. When the children goes to school, they have the teachers to guide them. Still, they intervene unnecessarily to a certain level and trying to hold on and bring control. People try to control things. That is the biggest problem. You are not in complete control of this world anyways. But the day you stop releasing the control over things is when you truly get to things to let go. Look at into your life. You just have to revolve around yours. What am I holding on to? What am I controlling? The word is controlling. If you slowly release that control off, it's when you're really letting it go. There's two things what you don't understand too. God, since obviously Mr. Sanjay have brought God into the picture. God have a lesson for everyone. Now, if you go and intervene and control and try to change things, what would God do? He would not be happy with it. He's going to give you more trouble at the end of the day. So, learn to let go things. There is a certain role. What I tell people is when you're a father, mother, brother, sister, whatever role is given to you, do it 100%. But stop expecting it from the other people in the same way. That is when you're going in the big cycle of, I have done this, you have to do that to me. And when you don't do that to me, I get angry, I get frustrated, I feel I'm lost. So it is all about the things what you want with you, trying to control you, let it be a job or anything. You tend to think that only with this thing I can live, without this I cannot. You are going to take wrong steps and that will build up a burden further on, right? So that's my point of view on that. Back to you, Shantanu. I hope I've summarized it in the best possible way.
Yes, you did, Deek. Thank you so much. Now, often people say that you should let go. However, it's very difficult to do that. So, my next question is, how do we do that? How simply can we do it? Now, people say your mind is in the past, or it's in the present, or it's in the future. How do we stay in the present state of mind at all times? How do we do that? And in the end, can you summarize it? What's your mantra of doing it? I'll first go on to Sanjay sir to explain that.
Shantanu, you all think everyone who's watching knows that I practice heartfulness meditation, and I've been doing that for a number of years. So there we have one practice which is called cleansing of the mind, and that I have found. I mean, as since I've been doing this for 30 years, I mean, I have been practicing that for 30 years. And I found that to be perhaps one of the most unique things one can use to let go of the emotional baggage. You know, see, we all have everything that happens around us or within us leaves an imprint in us. And if you look at it from the science of how memories get formed, every memory with it has a cognitive side and an emotional side. Now, cognitive side is essential for us to be able to gain experience or gain wisdom even, right? uh, I mean, things may have happened to me, let's say, when I was a child and later on and all that, so on and so forth. And everything has led to what I am today as a human being. But it is the emotional memory part that causes trouble. Let's say I fell down from a height a long time ago. And of course, I remember, so I'll be careful because that traumatic memory is there in my mind. But the emotional memory of that has created a fear in me to be able to be afraid of heights whenever I'm at a higher altitude. I mean, that's kind of, if you think just a simple example, and I can go on, there could be so many examples in our life. In fact, today's areas of psychologists, right? That's what they look into. What emotional memories you have, and how can they help you refine those memories or delete those memories from your system? And they're only dealing with emotional memories. So, into cleaning process that we do in heartfulness has been one of the most effective techniques I have come across. Though it's very simple, to help one. I mean, it has helped me to get rid of all that emotional baggage, right? And I think we do it on a daily basis. Of course, you find yourself to be a lot, I would say, rejuvenated person on a daily basis. And of course, I mean, there are many techniques. People say stay in the present moment, is think about it, focus on your breath and all that. But I find this to be more effective than anything else that you can ever think of. But of course, I'm sure people may have other means of also staying in the present moment or learning to stay in the present moment and all that. And as someone said, the Nike ad, just do it. How to learn in the present, how to live in the present moment by living in the present moment. Right. But I think it's a first, I think, like anything else, first it's the understanding and then realizing and then acting on it, right? And I think that's the best way to do it. Over to you, Deek.
Okay, yeah, perfect. So, see, my point is, there's two sides of it. I try my best not to bring, the spiritualities or most of those things in the conversation, because what I kind of believe is most of the solutions are sitting in the practical thing, and every practical have a spiritual counter thing which is going parallelly. It's much more easier. Many people tell me that, sir, how do you control your mind? Right? How do you bring that calmness? I was like, why are you wasting so much time in sitting in one side of things trying to control or do it? Now, Sanjay sir was talking about this emotional baggage which you're carrying, right? So the point here is yes, you are creating this emotional baggage and using a process to clear it. I would rather see it, keep the emotional baggage, see what's creating this emotional baggage, solve the problem. You won't have this baggage and you don't have this cleansing process which has to work through. Because what I've talked to many people and understood that is many people are looking for shortcuts for their problems, right? And shortcut in the sense, yes, every process have a truth in it if it's done with proper guidance and proper guru in picture. But I see it from a slightly different perspective of what's creating the problem, what's creating the emotional stress, what's creating this frustration. Go fix that. Most people don't want to fix it, and they want to get that shortcut, or they want to get that magical process, or they want to get that thing. Some people are scamming it, some people have truth, and people are confused. The whole world is getting confused and fixing their problem in the quickest way. What I tell people is everyone can go outside and get the sun and get vitamin D, but no one wants to get dark and they want to sit home and drink in a pill of vitamin D into their system. It never makes sense to me. Right? So the world is trying to look for shortcuts. That's the first problem. And the second thing is they don't want to leave it. That's the other problem, right? Because once they begin to lose it, they feel that they're losing a lot of things. For example, emotional thing. What I tell people, it's a very simple process to get your emotional thing out of your system. The day you stop expecting from people, is the day you're completely emotionally free. For me, I'm doing this session. Care what people are going to think. What I'm going to give my point of view, can be right, can be wrong, have different people a different perspective, but I'm not influenced or thinking that will someone like my show, will someone, what people are going to think. No, I'm going to give justice to the show in the best possible way. In summary, to make it a little more easier, I even told this before also. Be the best mother, be the best father, be the best child, be the best student, be the best grandfather in future. Whatever your role God or universe has given you, do that and full stop it there. The day we said, oh, I have done all this for my son, and now my son is not taking care of me, emotional imbalance. I've done all this for my friend, and this friend is not helping me the way I helped, emotion. You went and overdid. Always remember something: whatever's overly done, over love, over care, over protection, over love, it's all over. And God and universe that will never give credits for that, right? Because you overdone it. We are not supposed to do it. And when you overdo it, you begin to build this. So the first thing, my suggestion for anyone, stop expecting. I'm telling you, the day you stop expecting, no sadness, no anger, it'll all subside on its own, and focus on you being the best son, you being the best father, you being the best employee, you being the best boss you can be. And when you start working on being the best you can be, either you will change, or the surroundings around you, or the people around you will move out of your life. But what do most people do? No, my son is like this, it has to happen this way. My boss is like this, I need to work it in that way. I'm going to be the best employee in the organization, full stop it there. If your boss is not going to promote you, someone else will, but you be the best first. But what we do, no, I want my boss to promote. Oh, he's not a good guy. Don't waste your time on the outside world as to why the outside world is not working for you. You keep growing in such a way in each and every role which God or universe has given you, and then you will see how easily the world is going to flow according to your will. So what you're doing is you're letting go the things which you're not supposed to overdo. And that's when the other intervention will come, and you will see that you're going to fix the problem. And a very simple example, a mother and a son. Let me give a very simple example. A son, his direction has lost. He's going to go into drugs. He's going to go into whatever it is. Let's say an example, a son is doing that. Mother is working on, her own process to be calm, cleansing her mind, or whatever it is the mom is doing. My point is, instead of mom spending time on that, let the mother go and have a conversation with the kid, transfer the values which her parents have, transfer the belief, transfer the cultural strength which they have to their children. The child will improve with time. Most of the kids lose out. I tell this simple statement to most of the parents. Because children don't get true values and love within their family, they go outside in search of those love and values, and 99% people are going to misdirect them for their personal benefit in order to get what they want from your children or from your family members or whatever it is. So fix the problem so you don't have the emotional baggage. But what most people do, which I have seen, is they try to create the problem and try to fixing the problem or the side effects of the problem rather than fixing that. But what happens is you just get temporary satisfaction. Same thing, your health. Go and exercise, eat well, your health is there. But no. I want to do everything what I want to do. I don't want to let go stuff and eat a vitamin tablet which will balance my body. Yes, temporary you're going to get satisfaction to your body because the vitamin tablets will thing you. But at the end of the day, body needs genuine food, and only if you give that, you will have that peace or calmness or the ultimate concept of letting go. So why are you having the vitamin tablet? Because you don't want to let go the food which is actually working against your body. So what you need to do is to let that go so that the tablet is off. You are in your calmness by default. As I tell people, you're born positive, and when you leave this world, you end up being positive. But why go frustrated and stressed out and then get into that side, right? So that's my point, Shantanu, go ahead.
Deek and Sanjay sir, that was quite insightful. Now we have next question, uh, and it's quite often a difficult situation for everyone. How do you let go of someone whom you know is no good for you, and why is it so difficult? Let's point it out to Sanjay sir first. What are your thoughts around it?
I think, it's like letting go of things and letting go of someone. Can you hear me? Okay. Uh, I think these are all related, you know. And I think as I have been sharing that, all these things are easier said than done. We all say, be positive, don't do this, do this. How does one do it? And to me, Deek, I'll clarify that when I mention the process of cleaning and all, it's not nothing spiritual here. It's all psychological. These are all psychological things. See, as human being, right? Our mind. I'm sure you may have, both of you would have heard of this concept of neuroplasticity or neuroelasticity and all. I think our mind tends to get stuck to things that have happened in the past. That is just the nature of our mind, or our brain, or our system. They say, I think I had shared this earlier in one of our sessions, that as a human being, on an average, we have about 60,000 thoughts a day. And now you'll realize that 80% or 90% of these thoughts today that we are having are same as that we had yesterday. Now when you talk about, the neuroelasticity or plasticity, which is the opposite of that, we have this tendency to live in the past moment. That's, now we can say the present is the best gift you have. It's easier said than done, we all know. And that's why we need some intervention, we need some help. And when we talk about, whether it is a thing or a person, and that's, I think, to me, these are similar, because we associate person in our mind again in the same way as things, right? The things person did, person said. So it is really letting go of, especially if you're in love with somebody. That's the common problem among all youngsters, letting go of someone that they loved, or they had love for, and they were in good relationship with, whether it be a friend, boyfriend, or girlfriend, or even someone else, a colleague and all that, right? But I think it is hard, and that's why we're talking about it. And easier way is that if you have some intervention, that is, intervention to me is like something like cleaning technique, where it will help your mind to become more elastic, come back to live more in the present moment, and be able to, like I talk about those 60,000 thoughts, first reduce the number of thoughts and have more thoughts of the present moment than in the previous day or the day after that, and all that, right? So it is hard, and that's why we're talking about it. And it is easier way to do these things is practices like cleaning. And rest is, of course, a lot of mental exercises one can do to learn this. But over to Deek.
Just when you say, how do you let go someone who is not good for you? Okay, so first of all, now when you say someone, there are two kinds of people. When you say someone, you have your family, you have outside your family. So I won't get in the family part, because when you say generally someone not good for you, 99% of the people would mean people outside your family, because family is a core, and that has to stay together some way or the other. That's a complete different discussion I don't want to get into, right? If you ask me the question, I would for surely say it. But let's say how to get out someone who's not good for you. Now, every relationship which you come outside the family is normally a gap filling relationship. Gap filling relationship means something which your family cannot give you, or something your system around you cannot give you. So you're trying to fill that person. You can name it by friendship, you can name it by whichever way you want, but it's all a gap filling relationship, right? What I tell people is, a child whose family is genuinely happy, he doesn't need friends, actually, from my perspective. But obviously, friendship is more about mutual benefit. When both people come together, it's a mutual benefit. If the mutual benefit is not there, then it's not friendship. That's what I completely believe in. So how do you let go someone? First thing is, what gap are they filling in my life? Now, most of the youth, as Mr. Sanjay said, most of the youth get into relationship is mainly gap filling. My father didn't give me the attention. A girl gives me attention. Oh, that's love, right? Or my mother didn't give me the care, or a father didn't give the protection, and the girl goes, oh, this guy is giving me all the protection. Oh, that is love. So sometimes you tend to hold on these people who are just filling the gap with your insufficient of. So the question here is if you want to get this person out, what gap are they filling you in? If you understand that gap, right? Looking at your past, looking at your life, looking at whatever experience you have in your past, my mother not giving me that love. Now, if you can figure out your loving yourself, if you can figure out the God stuff, right? So if you can fill that, it's easy to get out of it. That's point number one way, understanding the gap with each of these people are filling in my life. And once that is understood, replace that with something else or some other alternative. It can be career. Like, for example, best example, Devdas and Paro, right? I hope most of you would know Devdas, who became alcoholic because he lost his love. If somewhere around he figures out that Paru is not worthy for me and I can have a better relationship than Paru, he wouldn't be an alcoholic. He would be working on something else much more meaningful. But then what happens? He don't want to release Paru. So this gap, he needs it and he wants it and he can't leave it. So he supplements it with alcohol or supplements with, some people you tend to see hearing loud music, right? They have a stressful life and they end up with loud music or disco or alcohol or whatever it is. They are all temporarily trying to suppress the frustration which they have in life, which these people are bringing. Now, the other reason why people don't want to leave, it's more of a sympathy kind of a thing, right? How can I be bad to a certain person, right? Many people ask me this question: why is good people always hurt? Why is good people always suffering? It's very simple answer. Good people go and do good things to the wrong people or good things at the wrong time to the right people, right? So what is happening right now is you are trying to be nice with everyone. You are trying to bring everyone on. Let's be that human, who's welcoming everyone on. What you don't understand is the more people you welcome in, more of your energy is getting used by those people in some form or the other. And then you get accustomed to it. And when you get accustomed to it, it becomes a habit. And then when it becomes a habit, two things will happen. Either you will learn and the habit is going to hit you hard, and then you will leave the person, or you figure out this is a dangerous thing. I need to fix it as quick as I can, or else it's going to work against. I know many youth, after a breakup, they'll come to me and say, sir, one more chance I can give that person. I say, like, this guy literally cheated you and left you on the road, and now you're saying I want to give one more chance. So what I tell them is, life is the biggest teacher you have, and every human being which comes into your life is trying to teach you a lesson. If you don't learn the lesson, people are going to keep repeating in your life. Situations are going to keep repeating. Whatever you do, you can try out anything in life. But if you are not growing and if you are not improving, life is going to keep sending the same experience. That's the only way God or life can actually teach you, right? So see it from that perspective. So why you can't leave this person? The main reason is you want that gap to be filled continuously, or you're trying to be nice to that means I'm welcome. So you understand that this person is not needed for me, or if this person is hurting me, find ways either to go more stronger so that that person doesn't hurt you, or move on. But what people do, I'm compromising. This word called compromise is a negative word. This word called, oversensitivity. It's all negative words which people are playing the victim card. And when you start playing the victim card, I'm telling you, everyone is going to be there for the rest of your life, destroying you. And one fine day you will say, I'm done. I got to make that changes. And that is when you leave that person. You are going to leave the bad persons in time, but the choice is in you. Would you trust a thief after he robs you? No. But once your family member robs you, or once your friend robs you, no, yaar, one more chance. No, friend, no. and that's when it works against you. Life is keep on teaching you with different people into your life, but you don't want to learn. And when you don't want to learn, life keeps hitting you from different people. Back to you, Shantanu.
Deek, I would agree. Life has a way to make you learn if you do not learn.
Yeah,
Now
that's the
we'll
beauty
go on
of
to,
life, right? Go ahead. Yeah.
that's correct. And let's move on to the next question. Uh, the last one, and I'll merge few more things along with it. Now, why should we let go? See, all the things that we are thinking, if everything is being given by God, your thoughts are also being given by God. Why should you control it? And how do I simply let go and just be happy, if at all I have to do it? I'll point it out to Sanjay sir first.
I had shared not too long ago about something that though I am 55 years old, but the learning never stops. I was taking a course and an online course which I don't do very often. This is one of the few that I did. And then one thing that I learned from that course, I mean, they say, I mean, the course was for some 20 plus hours, but there's one thing that has stuck me with me even now, even though I did that course about a year ago, that I don't have to be right all the time. I mean, I think that this all this pressure in life that we create on ourselves is because we feel the need to be right all the time, whether it be things, it be people. Think about it. What if I have a mental construct which allows me, which teaches me, which makes me realize that I don't have to be right all the time? I could be wrong. I don't need to be perfect in every relationship. I could be imperfect as well. And I think if I feel easiest way to let go is to realize things like that. I have ever since I have I mean, I would say it got stuck with my head, and I just always is there. I find that I'm able to let go of things. I'm able to let go of. I don't have to be right. I mean, I don't have to have response to everything that people are asking me, including the questions you're asking me, Shantanu. I feel that it's okay, even if I don't have an answer to something. It's okay because the person who needs to learn will learn regardless of whether I have an answer or not, right? Over to you, Deek.
Okay. Why and how to simply let go and just be happy. See, the problem is, now let me say happy, right? For me, there's positive happiness and negative happiness also, because sometimes, you would have noticed in your life itself, when some of your in your school time or college time, when some of your friend falls flat on the face, you all tend to be happy about it and you laugh about it, right? Is that happiness? Right? You can define it. Oh man, he fell out. Everyone is laughing and having a nice time. Oh, and laughing at him, making fun of the poor guy. Many people, you make fun of a lot of people, and you tend to find happiness in that. On the other hand, you have a baby crying, and you try to find ways to make the kid happy. That's positive happiness, because many people don't really understand what happiness is. Right? You have your most favorite thing with you. You're happy. When you don't have it, you're sad. For me, I believe that life is all positive. There's nothing negative. Everything is positive. Everything is right. There's nothing right and wrong. That's what I truly believe, because the day you differentiate right and wrong, it is you comparing your situation with someone else and defining it right and wrong. A right husband or a right wife, when you say the word right, you have a set of standards which you yourself has created within within a system which you actually believe in. So the question here is, what is right for you can be wrong for someone else. What is wrong for you can be right for someone else also. So what we have, the problem is, as Sanjay sir said, is we are trying to be right every time. We are trying to be perfect every time. That itself builds pressure. I 100% agree with it. But what is happiness, right? So from my point, what I've understood talking to a lot of people all around is true happiness is when you do justice to your birth. True happiness is when you do justice to your birth. And the justice to your birth is how well you be a better human being from the birth till your death. How you be a better person by growing. So at the end of the day, if you genuinely wants to be happy, you have to be growing as a human being. All your problems in life is when you stabilize yourself. All your problems in life is when you say, okay, yaar, it's okay, or chalta hai kind of an attitude. So if you are focused on growing, how can I be a better parent? Many parents are there. Oh, parents are parents. They are there. I am the son. Order. Take it. You have to do it. That's not growing as a parent. That is misusing your parents' seniority over your children. You're going to lose your children with time. So the question here you got to ask is, am I growing as a parent? Am I growing as a son? Am I growing as an employee? Am I growing as a leader? Am I growing as... If the answer is yes, I can assure you happiness will always be there with you, because you're doing true justice to your growth. And when you start focusing on that, when you grow, happiness, or the word which you call happiness, which I believe saying being positive, will automatically come by default, because you see being a better human being. That builds up a different kind of happiness, and that you will only realize it when you start focusing on growing. So the first step, focus on your growth. And the day you do that, all the other small things will be let go, because you're focused on you first. Learn to love yourself, which is stop comparing yourself. Most of the love which people have for themselves is also by comparing with someone else. When you tend to compare yourself with someone else, what you don't understand is you're reducing your worth regardless. So when you say someone is right, indirectly you're saying that I'm wrong. When you say someone is better than me, indirectly you're saying that I'm not worthy of being like him. Stop that. Let go the surroundings. Let go the people around you. Let go from that compare. There's a constant connections which you standardize yourself to be the perfect husband. These are the characteristics. That is a wrong way to do. To be a perfect husband for that wife which is there, work on that. Don't try to compare other husband and try to be like that. Like, that's the best example I tell to the youth, is that everyone wants to be a 99% student. So one child is really hardworking, and he came to me and told me that, I have a friend, he's always a topper. I want to beat him. I was like, why are you wasting your energy in beating him? Because constantly you are saying that I'm a topper, he's a topper, he's a topper, he's a topper. What you're doing is you're hooking onto him and trying to be a topper on your own, which is not going to work out, because your constant prayers, he's a topper, he's a topper, he's a topper. Release it. Let go that he being a topper. Start working on yours. I'm an 80 student. How do I make it 85, 90? And work from that perspective. When you start working from that perspective, every 5 marks which you get gives you satisfaction. I'm giving an example for exams. You can replace it with your projects. You can replace with your life. You can replace with your family. You can replace with every relationship which you have. If you want that happiness, it's all within you. Loving yourself, and then taking to the next level to growing yourself to be the best useful instrument you can be for the society or community, then happiness is an after fact. But the fun part is, once you reach that level, you don't want to get that happiness too. You just want to be the best instrument you can be in the name of God, by servicing people and spreading whatever you are destined to do that, right? Then at the later stage of life is you don't need that happiness also, right? For me, it's not about thing. For me, your response, your negativity, your feedback, you tell good or bad, is never going to affect me in any form, because for me, it doesn't matter. My thing is, whoever's the audience, share it in the best possible way. Forget the rest. If one person changes, that's all matters to me, right? So when you start seeing from that perspective, the happiness will come. And then once the happiness comes, you'll say, hey, why you want this happiness? Let me have more strength to serve more people in the best possible way. And I don't even want the happiness. My thing is, will I have the strength to do more of what I'm doing so that the positivity can spread it further on to the people? The ultimate happiness is when you see the world happy because of your contribution. But then what we do? I want to be happy. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. Yes, God will give you that small happiness. But if you want the ultimate happiness, it's all about others and making others happy, that too within your family and slowly within the society. That gives you true happiness. But once you reach the true happiness, you won't need that happiness also. Over to you, Shantanu.
Deek, I do agree. And Sanjay sir and Deek, thank you so much for such an insightful thing. I definitely do believe personally that happiness cannot alone be yours. You'll have to be happy and let others also be happy around you. One cannot be happy if their family members are not. One cannot be happy if their boss is not happy. One cannot be happy if their colleagues or their subordinates are not happy. So it cannot alone be you. It has to be around the people you are living with. So your happiness depends on their happiness too. So you have to be happy and let others also be happy. Now, no more questions there, but we have some comments which have come in. This one is for Sanjay sir, and it comes from Sandeep. He says, "What is the easiest, tiniest step one can take to start letting go?"
Thanks, Deek, for this question. As I was listening to our own discussion, I think one thing which we didn't cover is you see a simple way of letting go, or letting go of desires, attachments, is that if you have a stronger purpose in life, they say, how do you let go of everything else that you're holding on to? By having something. I mean, see, again, concept of neuroplasticity, that our mind is always looking for something to hang on to, right? But if you have some larger purpose to hang on to, all smaller things will go away. I mean, suppose you have a bunch of people who are demanding your time for whatever reason. I'll not go into details. Let's say you are in a situation where bunch of things are demanding your time, your attention, and all that, and you don't know how to get. We'll be talking about how to get rid of, or how to let go of, detach yourself from relationship or smaller things or this and that. If easier way to do this is attach yourself to the larger thing, a larger project, a larger purpose in life. And that's where I think, when in the last response, when Deek was saying others happiness, let's say, I would say, why focus on others happiness? Because that will be one of those small things that you're attached to. I mean, if you, think logically about this, I think, to me, a larger purpose could be, again, in one of the responses we were talking, I think Deek was talking about, is that if you think about the larger good of the society, let's say you become part of a larger purpose that is happening in your community, then you will have less time to think about all these other things. The monkey mind otherwise will start thinking about, how do I keep this guy happy, that guy happy. I mean, you can never, however you try, you can never keep everybody happy. And we'll talk about, in more detail about happiness, in some other, I'll just focus on this. So tiniest step one could take, Sandeep, is to start focusing on a larger purpose in life. If you have that, then automatically you will have less time or less attention being given to, or being required by, all the other smaller things, whether it be relationship, or it be your own emotional baggage. Then obviously that will pull you out of all these things that you're stuck in.
Thank you so much, Sanjay sir. Next question, I'll point it out with Deek. Deek, this is coming from Kamakshi. She's asking, what are the top three things we should never let go of, which in return helps us let go of the opposite? Little confusing, but
Little
I think
confusing
it's quite
question.
but quite introspective.
Okay, so just to add on to a humorous answer to the previous question, which was asked by Dilip, in simple terms, the quickest way is that is I always tell this to most of the adults is if you're there in this world or if you leave this world, the world is going to run. The day you accept that, you're going to let go many things which you're supposed to let go, right? Because you think that it's because of you the world is running. Yeah, if you die also, the world is going to run. So accept the fact. That's the easiest way if you have to let go small things. So back to Kamashi's question. What are the three things we should never let go of, which in return will help us let go the opposite? So now, first thing you should never let go is your relationship, which is your mother, father, right? People tell me about trust because when you're born into this world, you only have your mother, father. Because they are there, you're truly existing. If they're not there, you're not there also. So never let go your parents, right? Brothers, sisters until marriage. I'm talking about relationship first, right? The three things which you told, I'll tell you the first three things. One is relationship. Mother, father, for your whole life, never let them go. Brother, sister until marriage, because after marriage, the wife or the spouse will come and flip their mind against you. Your children's until marriage, because after marriage they can also change around, and whoever your spouse is going to be, never let go these people, because these are the people who is going to be stay there for you, and obviously in turn build up that relationship, somehow work to build up that relationship. That is one. Second thing is your health. Focus on your health and never let go that, because if you let go that, there are chances your body won't support to the mission or that relationship part. And the last thing is educate yourself so that you have the wisdom. Keep reading about relationships, keep reading about health, keep reading about, get that wisdom or get that education, get that knowledge about how I can be a better human being. If you hold on to three of these things, money is an after effect, God is an after effect, all these things will fall automatically. Relationship, education and health, these are the three things which human beings should never ever let go in their life. And what people don't understand is most people hold finance. Finance is one part of it. I'm not saying it's not. I believe there's 5 aspects to a positive life. Finance is one part of it. But if you have a balanced relationship, education, and health, money by default will come. And when you have all these balance, God is already there with you. So that makes it much more easier automatically. I hope, Kamakshi, I've answered that question in the best possible way. That's it, Shantanu.
Deek, that was quite insightful. Since we have less time, I'll just take up one last question. There are a lot of questions coming in. So I'll just take up one. This is coming from Merun. She's asking, as a leader, when you have responsibilities to handle, how and when should you look at the prospect of letting go? This I'll point it out with Sanjay sir first, and then we'll come back to Deek.
Man, I don't know whether Meron is trying to ask me something very. I think, I mean, I guess
Can
we
be a
have.
little personal.
Yeah. I think, yeah, it is. I guess there are a couple of things that I have shared here. If I can summarize those, that will help. I mean, that's how I'm recalling this. One is remove the pressure from you to be right all the time, right? Very, very important. You don't have to be. In fact, remove the pressure from you even to be happy all the time or keeping others happy. Remove the pressure, right? And another thing, and the third would be attaching yourself to a larger purpose in life. Now, if we talk about specific thing of, let's say, perhaps you're referring to a specific thing of letting go of a person who works for you, or letting go of an issue. I mean, you cannot. I mean, there are things at times, there are duties and responsibilities we all have, right? Let's say I have responsibility of growing a division in the company, and it is not happening, and I can't just not ignore it. I mean, as a leader, because I do have responsibility and many people to feed, if I may look at it down to that level, right? So I think it is there are, you will give chances to that particular situation, person, and then eventually you have to be inside for, again, for the larger purpose. You may have to take an action, you would have to take an action, and let go of the person, let go of the issue, and you know and let this thing move on, be unclogged, to move on to greener and better pastures, right? I think I'll just leave it at that.
Thank you so much, Sanjay sir. Deek, for you, I think rather than passing on the same question, I would like to point out another one. It's quite emotional kind of a question. This one is coming from Rajshri. She's asking, Sir, being a woman, we are often born emotional, and often it's not easy for us to let go. At times, I feel guilty. What suggestions will you have for me? Deek, I think you're on mute.
Okay. Yeah, and Shantanu, just to add on, for me, as long as the questions come, I can continue answering. It's not a problem. But if your show has a limit, we have to stop it. So that's not a problem at all. So don't worry about my time. My thing is, when I'm on a session, I want to answer people's question 100%. As long as the questions come, I'll keep talking. Maximum, I have 3.5 hours for my show. So yeah, so that's good. So it's one of the beautiful questions, Rajeshri, I've got in this show. The first thing is, you're identifying yourself as a woman, which means you yourself in your mind have believed that men are different, right? Both men and women are created for two different purposes for this world to run. First, accept the fact. Never ever think that they are superior or you are weak. That is first point. Now, men, because I think your biggest problem from your question, when you said being a woman, it was very clear for me you have a huge differentiation between men and women into your head. So that's the reason I'm answering that, and then I'll come to the remaining question which you have. First thing is, you need to bring that difference down. Men have their own strength, women have their own strength. You both are complementing it so that the society can be better off, right? Get this point very clear. A husband and a wife, you come together to complement each other to spread that mission which you both are destined to carry on, which is creating kids or making a life, or whatever you do in your life. The more you compare yourself, here what you're doing is you're comparing your emotional weakness into something which is not there in men. I'm telling you one thing, me being a man also have an emotional side of things. You go and hit the most softest corner which they have, you will see all their emotions coming out. Please don't think that mind is there with both men and women. All the emotions which women go through is also going through the men, except the physical differences. That brings a separate set of emotional differences into your mind. I'm not talking about that, but in general, all that is there with both men and women. Accept this fact first, because the more you compare, this is like you're comparing your physical strength with your emotional weakness which you have, and seeing that you are not superior. Now many people say, now next step, most of the women when I talk to, they said, we cry it off. Crying is a strength. Get this point very clear. Crying is a strength. You are letting go the thing which is in your heart, because you can't solve that problem. You're crying it or let go. Many people die with heart attack are people who don't cry it off and keep it in their heart. So be happy that you are somewhat on the emotional side of things. Now, you saying you're born emotional, I don't agree with that, because no one is born emotional. When you are a child, I'm sure you give you give a child a snake, you give a child an elephant, is going to treat everyone equal. Your mother hits you, you're going to cry for maximum 5 minutes, and you're going to come back to your true self. Kids are like that. So first, stop stamping yourself that you're born emotional. That is point number one. Let me get your next part. Even often easy to let go. At times I feel guilty. Yes. Why are you feeling guilty? Because somewhere around you are thinking, I'm not doing some certain level of justice to these people. You are trying to be your best. But somewhere around, why you're feeling guilty is the world is not changing according to you. You are doing your best, the world is not changing. You are doing your best, the world is not changing. What if you're overdoing that best to that some people? Stop that. Because only when you stop that, when are people guilty? When you overdo, or when you do which is not required, right? When you overdo things, or when you less, or whatever the opposite of overdo is, when you do that is when you have guilt. If you're doing your best, where is the guilt here? The problem what is happening is you are in this big cycle of, I have done all this and I've become so emotionally, I've given all my mind to a certain person, and the person is not loving me the way I'm loving. That is where the problem is, right? And then what you do, you keep doing the same thing again and again and again and over. You get physically hit, you got mentally hit. I'm sure if you're too emotional person, you would be also having a health issue which is countering it further on, because that is a cycle, right? So first thing is, please don't believe you're born emotional. I'm telling you, if I really hit you in the most, not the softest corner, the most thing which you really dearly love, I'm telling you, you are going to come in that, what we say, in the ferocious level which a woman can also get into. So what you don't understand is, women have their own strength, men have their own strength. If you focus on that, the society ends up being happy. Now, the biggest marketing thing which is going on right now in this world is splitting the family as much as they can. Corporates can sell more if they split the family more. If you see the ads right now, initially it was all about family ads. Now the ads have moved into couples ads. Then slowly now the children are saying, Mama, have this black hair dye. Indirectly giving all having split opinions where they can sell it more. So the more they brush male versus female, more they can sell a product. I still have this joke. When parents, when they have a girl child, they buy all pink. When they have a boy child, they throw all the pink and have all the blue. I still don't understand the concept why people are holding on to these things. What is the problem if you give a blue gift to a girl? Nothing. It is the society and the corporates trying to put you unnecessary pressure through their marketing schemes, through their marketing concepts, and making you feel guilt. Oh, you didn't do this also. You can't do this for your child. And you are having all these guilt because somewhere around you're putting many unnecessary steps. Now, my friend has a car. I also need a car. Yeah, he have that much salary, so he has a car. You don't go and get the same car. My friend has 2 cars. You only want 1 car. I want another one more because my friend has a car. The day you don't let go the what others are doing, I'm telling you, that also will further guilt on. Why? Because you're spending most of the time thinking about other people and not about you. That brings the biggest guilt ever. That's why I tell everyone to make it very simple. Dying with guilt is the most worst death anyone can have, which is, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have this, if this would have happened, that would have happened. So please get out of your guilt. If you have done your best, be happy and be satisfied in it. If the world is not changing, just forget them. The problem is that you want the world to change. And then the world is not changing, you get emotional about it. And you get emotional about it, further on you build up that emotion, and then you expect someone else to change those person. You just keeping on working from that perspective, and you forget you. And when you forget you, there is another guilt gets birth. I hope, ma'am, I've answered your question the best possible. It's a question on typing, so I can trigger out various things, what you've gone through, and I've just given you, I hope indirectly I've answered your question.
I'm sure Rajshri would have got a lot of insights from this. With this, we would like to end this session here. Uh, Thank you so much, Mr. Parassini and Sanjay sir, for the entire session has been quite insightful. And definitely after this, I'm sure people will learn to let go of the things that they have in their mind and the impressions that they have. Thank you so much, both of you.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, Sanjay Notes team, Shantanu and Miru and Nikhil. Yeah, thanks a lot for all your coordination for the show. It was very nicely done. It's just my personal feedback, and it was nice. And special thanks to Sanjay sir for giving me this opportunity to come onto his platform to share my point of view. It's just what concepts which I believe in, and thanks a lot that I could spread my concept of positivity. in some form or the other to your audience. But one thing I want to simplify, because many people misunderstand this positivity concept. There is this concept called thinking positive. There is this concept called being positive. I don't support that. All I can say is go and do what is positive. And 90% of the people already know it. You know what is positive for you. I don't need to tell you. None of the great people have to actually tell you what you have to do. You already know it. The question here is, would you want to do it or not? If you go do it, I'm telling you, positive is going to come. So what I believe is life is all positive, because everything happens for a reason and there is a learning experience if you learn it. So I just want to summarize. In summary is, every tear which falls out of your eyes is something life trying to teach you. If you learn that lesson, the tear will stop. If you don't learn that lesson, the tear is going to keep repeating until you learn that lesson. So that's all I want to summarize from that. So make sure every negativity which is in your life is life trying to teach you something. If you focus on the teaching, it will evolve with time with positivity. And that's what I truly believe. And thank you everyone for this great opportunity in making me spread my message in some form or the other to a different set of audience. That's it from my side.
Thank you, Deek. Any last words from your side, Sanjay sir?
No, thanks, Deek, for coming on the show. I think I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you so
I will
much,
let go
everyone.
of that question.
That was a good one.
Thank you, sir. Good one. Take care. Bye
Perfect.
bye.
Thank you. Bye.